All right, welcome in. We are live with Mr. Seb Bolton here.
What's up?
And for anybody watching, tuning in, we just had a deal go down pre-stream here. If you're in the break room, you saw the notification. We'll have to break that one down. I guess we'll try to introduce Seb first here, and then we'll dive into that, I suppose. So, so this is Seb, new Dynasty player for anyone that's like not in the break room. You started what? Maybe that draft was a month ago?
Yeah.
Okay, so then you're currently in one league, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. I think I was trying to find you a free league, and then I never heard anything back. And this is I'm sure you'll get more Dynasty leagues as the season goes on. But tell us how you got into Dynasty here. I mean, I know a little bit, but tell the stream.
Well, mainly you, of course. Xbox parties always came in with Dakota, who's in the league, and I always heard y'all talking about it, and I'm like, what the fuck what are y'all talking about? And I would always get yelled at by Dakota, like, you need to get into fantasy, and then Tamara at work is a good buddy of mine. She was also in it, and she convinced me to get in it. So I did get in it, but it wasn't nothing like this. It was just a regular fantasy thing. And I actually won that league.
Oh, yeah?
With Chase Brown, Joe Burrow, Justin Jefferson, a few other people. But I won that league, and then I upgraded to you guys. Y'all got me in this big one, and it is nothing like the other one. I actually have to try in this one. I didn't even make one trade in the other one, believe it or not. No, not a single trade was made. But so you three kind of got me into it, and here I am.
Okay, interesting. Yeah, I know you probably were hearing us talking. I kind of forgot how you got into it. But I remember there was a spot open.
Yeah.
And Coda sent you an invite or whatever, but things have been moving quick. Like you got to learn and adapt quick. So basically, I don't know. Tell us how the startup process there went. How you thought you did. What were you like? Maybe what was your plan going in? Right. Give us a little bit of that.
The team I had before.
Oh, draft like your redraft team.
Yeah, the same team I had one with last year. Get them all back.
Yeah.
That didn't go well for me. I got Joe Burrow. He's gone now, obviously.
That's true. Everyone's gone. Two times over.
Everyone's pretty much gone. So then I saw Pally put in the chat league, who wants to trade for these picks, and I'm like, because I think I saw another trade. I'm like, bro, like, let me get in on this. Like, why is everyone else going to trade? So I sent him a deal, I asked him what you want, and then I sent him a deal. It was like the 108 and then the 112, something like that for the second pick I had, and then something else I had or something like that. He changed it to the 11th and the 112. I'm like, you know what, fuck it. Or screw it. Give me Bijan, because I saw Bijan was up there. I remembered people saying Bijan is very valuable. I'm like, okay, Bijan. And then I got screamed at saying, oh my God, bad trade. And I think that kind of started off the trades for me. And then I made a very regrettable one with JMF and Squishy. I always regret that one. It's one that I regret the most.
Yeah, but, that was a pretty bad one. There's no other way around it. That was pretty bad. But hey, I mean, those were your first two.
How many trade offers started coming in after you made that one with Andrew and Jacob there?
A lot. A lot.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I was like a couple from Dylan, a few other Dakota tribes. But
how are you making sense of everything? Because like you're new to Dynasty, so were you just kind of relying on like keep trade cut, or were you just going off of instincts, or like what were you even doing early on during that startup?
Instincts. So like I know football, I don't know fantasy. Like I can tell you everything about Packers, Bengals, some stuff about other teams. But those are my two main teams. But my idea was, okay, build the original team I had. I'll probably win again. Didn't go down like that. So then I was like, okay, so trade up, get the good players.
Yeah.
But I wasn't thinking, since I've never been in here before, I wasn't thinking about depth. And I kept getting told, it was actually Dakota who kept telling me, like, you're screwing up your depth, you're screwing that all up. I'm like, what is depth? Why is that important? Who cares? I was just like that. I was in the win now mindset. Like, let me get all these good guys. And then I feel like I did a pretty good job at getting all of them. They're all gone now. But then now I feel like I've done a good job at rebuilding the team. And now that I've learned that depth is important, I feel like I've done a pretty good job. I mean, I just got 2 new players from the trade we just did. Who knows who they're going to be? I'm going to trade those picks away probably. But I feel like the depth is now good. I feel like the team is in a better spot than when the draft ended. And now it's just waiting on the draft, basically.
Yeah, can definitely agree with. I think your team, like, basically to put it, sum it up for anyone that wasn't in there, like, yeah, you were kind of just going with the wind, like wherever the wind was blowing you, but you were also trying to get good players, like you could see that, and basically like one of the deals, like you just got like absolutely rinsed in because obviously you just didn't know what was like going on. I think I had told Coda to like, help him out with deals and stuff like that. Like when he was in his first startup, like I helped him. Like even though I was competing against him, I still don't. I never want to see someone just like that's new just destroy their team. I'm not gonna like try to help them like necessarily like run it, but I'm gonna like help them if they want to like pretty much just make sure they don't get their team like absolutely ruined. So yeah, Coda has been helping you more since those deals. You've been coming to me and Dan and to help. And
also, I do want to say Colossal Titan. He's been a big help too. I like him. He's been one of my biggest trade partners. I've gone to him for advice. He's been helping me a lot. So shout out to him.
Yeah, you got a lot of deals done with him. But yeah, anyways, since your startup though, like you had like Tyler Conklin in one of your flex spots, like at one point, and like no picks, and somehow you now have like a lot of extra picks actually now, and you have like a better starting lineup somehow, or at least depth wise, and you found ways to compensate as far as missing out on those studs. So.
Yeah, and Blake, do you want to do a screen share and pull up Sebastian's roster so everyone watching can look at what we're talking about here? But I definitely agree. I think Sebastian, I think the last like 4 trades you made have been so much better than like all the trades you made before that. And yeah, like your team was kind of looking in rough shape there, but after the last 4 deals, like I mean, your team is like night and day. Like it looks so much better. You have so much more depth. And I really think that this is the kind of league where you want to have that kind of depth in, because like you want to feel good about all 11 of your starting players. You need to have some good players on the bench because there are going to be injuries and bye weeks, and there are going to be players who disappoint, aren't as good as you expect them to be. So, and it's a long season. So, in this format specifically, I definitely love the moves that you've been making recently. And I think most of them we probably have already broken down on stream, but I mean, we could like, quickly kind of scroll through them just to kind of remind everyone of like the last few deals you've made. But like, do you feel like you have a better sense of things now, Sebastian, in terms of like what is a good trade and just kind of a process with that? Or do you still feel like you're, really have a ways to go in terms of like learning everything?
I mean, I definitely got a ways to go, but I feel like I definitely finally have a better understanding of what's fair and what's not fair. I've been offered some bogus stuff since then, and I've clearly known that was not worth it. So I haven't accepted any of that. So I'm clearly learning, but clearly I still have a long way to go. I'm not anywhere near as you or Blake, or Diggs as I call him. But I'm getting there, and hopefully it all pays off.
Yeah, and forgive me if you mentioned this because I was busy dropping the link in the league chat of the break room there when you were first talking about how you got into Dynasty and everything. But like, how long have you been playing just like fantasy football in general for? Like even just if it was like a redraft league or whatever?
Since the start of last year.
Oh, okay. So really, I mean, fantasy football in general is pretty new to you.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. But I mean, you've been watching football for most of your life, though. You mentioned you're a fan of the Packers and even Bengals a little bit.
Go Pack, go! Yeah, Cincinnati. I love Cincinnati, but I'm not picking them over Green Bay. If it's Green Bay and everyone else can shoot, Green Bay. I mean, I've always had a thing for them. I don't know. I don't even know why. I don't even know how it started. But Green Bay's always been that team. The only reason I'm semi-Cincinnati fan is because my grandpa. He's my football partner. I watched every game with him. whether it's Cincinnati or Green Bay, because he watches every Green Bay game with me. So I watch every Cincinnati game. So they kind of just grew on me. I definitely liked seeing them succeed when they got Burrow and Chase, went to the Super Bowl. I was rooting for them all the way through. I was rooting for them. And then our first game ever was Green Bay versus Cincinnati. It was like 2021, 2022, one of those 2 years. Both kickers were missing all the field goals in overtime. McPherson and Osby. That was a great game. That was a great first game to ever be at. But that was my first game ever. So Cincinnati fans were awesome. So, but I love Cincinnati, but I don't love Cincinnati, if that makes sense at all. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that would be a fun Super Bowl matchup. So yeah, maybe that'll happen someday.
Dream.
Yeah, so I have the team pulled up there, by the way. Basically to run through it, the only person you drafted in the startup was, George Kittle, Jacoby Myers, and Geno Smith.
Alvin Kamara, too.
Oh, Alvin Kamara. That's right, yeah. Which I thought was a good pick as well for, like, your team, so it's a good... I'm glad you've held on to him throughout, because I feel like those players are probably the best ones to hang on that you had. Of course, you had much better players, but these guys are kind of not really worth maybe as much as they're going to produce, so I kind of like that you held on to them. But yeah, we can't even really begin to run through the trades. There's just too many of them. Like, basically, we've mentioned them on other streams and stuff, but like, I agree. Like, the last deals you've been making, I think they've been fair deals, and I think just like the direction that it's gone, like you have a much better team. Overall.
I think to summarize, like the last 4 trades, like the one thing that they all have in common, they're all either tear down trades or they're a trade where Sebastian is getting back more good players than he's giving away. Like, for instance, the trade he did, I think it was the last one he did with Colossal Tighten Up. Sebastian moved Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, but he got back Lamar Jackson, Bijan Robinson, and Zay Flowers. So, not to put Zay Flowers in the category of those other 4 players, of course, but we can agree all 5 of those guys are good players. Sebastian gets 3, he gives 2. Now, that's not always going to be what you want to do depending on the league and how shallow or deep it is or whatever. Okay. But I think in a 12-team start 11, I think you, just as a very general statement, you generally prefer the side where you're getting more good players than the other side. As simple and basic as that sounds, but all 4 of Sebastian's last trades had that in common. So he's really has embraced like the tear down trade, which of course is something near and dear to my heart. I mean, that's something that I love doing in most of my leagues because I really don't play in too many shallow leagues. And when I first started playing Dynasty, like I built like my first Dynasty, my first like loaded roster based off of really crafty, savvy tear down trades. So it's been fun to see.
Yeah, so you've done the opposite of that here, Dan. You've now traded up for Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
Who Seb acquired, of course, in a recent deal. Thought, I thought that trade was particularly good because he got Zay Flowers in it, but that's also part of the reason is that he could then trade him again. He's somewhere within that first range. He's a debatable player in the community, but this is a fun deal here. And looking at what he can do with these picks, I don't know. Do you think Zay Flowers? It's funny, he's been passed around, but does he feel as tradable as like maybe his value suggests? Like, I'm not. No. I don't own him. I don't feel like he is. Maybe especially in this format.
Yeah. So that's the thing, but I'm not paying a first, so that's why I was good with it. And I'll be interested to see what the break room thinks of this. So definitely anyone from the break room that's watching this right now, definitely comment on this deal because I'm curious what everyone thinks about it. I have a feeling I don't know, maybe they're just gonna assume oh, it's Sebastian, he's the new Dynasty guy, he got fleeced on this or whatever. I think it's fair. I feel like people will probably default to just saying I won it, but I think it's pretty fair. I feel like it's a win-win. Sebastian, again, he's just multiplying assets, which I love for his team. Zay Flowers doesn't have the most trade value, but he's not a player I'm trading for so I can flip. He's a guy I'm just basically I don't know how long this league's going to last. Hopefully a long time.
Don't even worry. This league won't be ending, so.
Oh, no. That's right. I phrased that poorly.
Yeah.
I don't know how many years this league's going to last. Whether it's going to be 5 or 10, I think it'll last quite a while. It's honestly one of my favorite leagues. I think this will make it the long haul for sure, especially Blake with you as commissioner. I think a good commissioner is one of the most important things to the longevity of any dynasty league. But yeah, Flowers is a guy I'm just he's young enough that I'll just roster him for his career, and who knows, maybe his value goes up at some point and I can flip him if I want to, but he's a guy I'm just happy to roster for his career, and I just like him.
Gotcha. Yeah. No. I mean, yeah. To be clear and be watching. Yeah. Any league that I'm in, if you're in another league, there will be no worrying about leagues flopping or anything like that. Yeah. Well, don't worry.
Far from it. Any league that you're the commissioner of, that's the one where I'm making trades under the belief that this is going to be around for a while. Yeah, absolutely.
That's an interesting topic, by the way, just because I feel like maybe when people join a league, especially they don't know who I am, or that I'm much different from any other commissioner, but it is true. A commissioner is very important. You just need to be not incompetent, and the league will keep going for as long as you can possibly imagine. So anyone, at least with me, I feel like you can be comfortable making trade for 27 picks, whatever it is. Want to make that clear. You definitely can. But this was a fun deal, Seb. I'll hand you.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah. No, I thought it was. I guess it was good move for your team.
And should we tell the story of how this came about? So basically, right before the stream, we meet on Zoom. And Sebastian was talking about the offer he sent out to, I believe it was Come On Man. And you offered a deal where, Sebastian, you were going to get 3 seconds, 2 this year, and then 1 next year. And you were going to give Zay Flowers and 2/3 that projected to be late. And I was like, man, I don't think that's that amazing of an offer for you. And hey, heck, I'll beat that. So I'll give you the 3 seconds, and you don't have to give me any picks back. So
there we go.
Boom, you hit accept, and that was it. So that was pretty fun. But what are your thoughts on this deal, Sebastian?
Oh, I'm happy with it. That's just more trade value for me.
Yep. Awesome.
Yeah, easier to much. That's what I love about it is it's much more easy assets to deal. I don't exactly know. I think if you find the right manager, it's not hard at all to send away Zay Flowers to them. But he feels like one of those players where someone might be on complete opposite ends of the spectrum, whereas we know picks are so easy to flip and whatnot. And for reference, we won't go through what the deal was that Seb had offered to another manager, but basically my initial hesitation just hearing it was just that okay, I'm thinking that other one he's getting. Though one of them is technically it's debatable because we don't have a crystal ball. It seemed like he's getting 3 better picks, though he doesn't have to give up 2/3. And now that I'm thinking about it a little bit more, it is Coda's second. I'd have to look at his team, but I do like it that he gets to keep his stash of, what do you have, 4 26/3 or 5 of them or something.
Oh man, I got a lot of picks next year now.
Yeah, probably a lot now. Sebastian is just he's just got a treasure trove, a growing treasure trove of assets here. So it's been fun what he's been doing, and knowing that Sebastian likes to trade, those picks are going to be so much more liquid and easy to move and easy to turn into, whatever Sebastian wants than Zay Flowers would be for sure.
Yeah, so he's got 3 of them. So yeah, I like it after looking. And here's the thing: that other offer wasn't even accepted.
Right? Exactly.
Was it going to get accepted? Who has any idea? So
frankly, I was worried it was too good of an offer for Come On Man. I was worried Come On Man was going to smash accept that. So I was like, man, I got to beat that right now and get this deal done.
You never know with that, man. I tell you that. But I don't know about that. But I thought I definitely had a chance. I definitely thought it was a sneaky offer. And I got to give credit to Seb because, again, he's been running through some ideas. Just making sure basically he's not getting fleeced before he sends an offer or whatever. And that's probably the best offer I've seen him the best and most realistic offer that should easily be accepted. That he's or has a chance to be. That I
think deals with Dylan put Terry McLaurin up on the trade block, and I put the interest thing on there. So we were talking a little bit. I thought I sent him a pretty fair offer. I think I sent you it, but I don't know. I can say it on stream or no?
I mean, I guess that's up to you if you want to do it. I mean, I don't know.
Well, it wasn't nothing that just got traded away, but I was gonna give him because he wanted the 112. At first, he sent me this kind of the same offer, but it was for Sutton. It was kind of like that, but he wanted an extra pick, so I wasn't gonna do that because I remembered what y'all said. And then I countered with hold on, let me pull it up here just so I don't sound like an idiot.
Yeah, and I'll just say while you're looking that up, Sebastian, I recently made a trade for Terry McLaurin in a very similar league. 2 PPR for tight ends, 12 teams, start 11, like almost, pretty much the identical format. And I received Terry McLaurin and an early third. I think it was like the 302, I want to say, something like that. Might have been like 304, but it was an early third. So Terry McLaurin in the early third I got, and I gave up basically a late first. Like it was like I think it was like the 110 or something like that. I was
gonna give him way more than that. What? I was gonna give him the 112, the 2026 first round, the 306, and the 2026 third. He was gonna give me back McLaurin. I wanted the 202, 203, and a 2026 second. I didn't put that on my own.
Okay, interesting. Okay, 3 seconds back, 2 of which are early and this year, but you're giving up what was it? 2, basically a late first and a first next year.
Yeah, and then
whose first was that next year? Who was that?
Colossal.
Colossal. Okay.
That's what he's got.
So yeah, Colossal's definitely got some studs. You know, he doesn't have like the most depth in the world, so that could kind of be anywhere. That pick.
Yeah. Is that fair?
What do you think, Blake?
I like to be able to see it. It's kind of hard to just hear it and visualize it.
Let's break it down. McLaurin is worth about a late first. I'm not saying I would pay that, hence why I got the early third back when I did it in a league. But let's call him close enough to the 112. So call that even. So you're basically trading a first next year that's like completely random. It could be early, it could be late, it could be mid. Yeah. A completely random first next year with some upside, at least theoretically.
And a third, I think. Right.
And you're getting back 2 early seconds, 202, 203, and a second next year. So yeah, I think that's fair because think about it. On the clock, you might be able to get with that 202, you might be able to turn that 202 into a first next year. It might be late projected, but you could possibly do that. So that's true of both the 202 and the 203. So yeah, I think that's a totally fair deal. I think that would have been fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd love to see it. I mean, basically the way I'm visualizing around with the 202 and the 203 for the first. Yeah, it's hard because like that first basically determines everything where that thing ends up. And like I need to like start looking at teams and doing some research. But like if it's as long as it's not projected as like a guaranteed playoff team, I can see a reasoning to accept it, especially if you think it can be early. Because in the grand scheme of things, 202 and 203 is not that big of a deal if you can collect an early first for 2026. That's the big piece of context needed.
Yeah, and here's how I break the trade down. I think this is the simplest way, easiest way to look at the trade. I think it is the 112 for McLaurin and the 26 second. I think that's about even. Maybe you slightly favor McLaurin in the second, but I think that's about fair because, I don't really want to pay a late first for McLaurin, but I'm okay doing it if I'm contending and I'm getting like a halfway interesting pick back, like a future second, an early third this year. So I think that's like perfectly even. And then you're trading a random first in 26 and you're getting back 202 and 203 this year. I think that's even as well. So like, I think that's like a perfect offer. So honestly, Sebastian, you said you sent that offer?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, I think the fact that you sent that offer shows that like you're definitely getting it now. Like you're definitely getting a good sense of like what a fair offer should look like. So I think that says a lot, and I think that's really cool. I think that's a really solid offer.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, you've definitely been getting much more hang of things. I love that you're collecting the picks. Maybe this segue to another topic, but like I was talking with a new manager, I think in the startup that Trent and I are going to co-manage. And, by the way, Seb, if you do want a league, there is now a spot open in it, so we might have to look into that, though it is a 200 buy-in league. But we'll figure all that out after. But basically, one of the guys there, he was asking about the formats and how we're doing a separate rookie draft, even though the rookies are going to be picked when we do the startup. And we got talking about rookie picks, and I was thinking of something that is pretty funny. Like, Dan and I are in a league together. We can certainly, attest to this. Just with some owners in there, because that league has been running for 4 years, I think now, at least since 2021. And basically over, maybe 2+ years, if you think about your managers in your leagues that don't care about rookie picks, like they generally have pretty trash teams. Like, is this something that we've seen before, Dan, or you can think about in different leagues that I would say like about 90% of the time?
It's never a good manager. Like when you look at that team that has like 0 or very few picks, like maybe they have some random stray 3rd or 4th and like 26 and 27. Like those teams are never good. Like in theory, they should be loaded because they've, mortgaged their future in order to get in theory, a bunch of great players right now to like load up and destroy the competition supposedly. But it never works out that way.
Yeah.
Usually it's done by managers that don't make great decisions, and I mean with some exceptions, I'm sure. I'm not saying like that can't work, but more often than not, it's done by kind of irresponsible managers that aren't making the savviest moves, and a lot of times they're just kind of like they make a bad trade, and then to make up for it, now I'm going to trade some future picks to get in a good player to make up for this crappy deal I made, and then they're just like throwing good money after bad, and just like digging themselves in a deeper and deeper hole. So it's never a position you want to be in.
Yeah, I bring this up too because it's a good topic for Seb, who initially started doing that, and then now you can just like really feel the vibe of his team started to turn around. And I mean, truly, like I've seen a bunch of teams like this, and even the leagues that only been going a couple of years. Like if you look at owners that don't have their 26 picks, don't have any 25, it's like what's your plan? Because you don't have anything on your team. You didn't hit on any of the rookies last year probably because you didn't have rookie picks, and it's just a really interesting like thought experiment. And then like to actually go see teams that are trying that method.
Yeah,
it's funny because I always hear people trashing on these 3rd, 4th round rookie picks, right? And it's like sure in trade value they're really not worth that much. Like they just have a set price of whatever like a 3rd or 4th is. That's what they're worth. But the thing is like without those 3rd and 4th round rookie picks, like what are you hoping for? Are you just hoping that you find a veteran, you buy him at 27 and he goes to age 35 and like it just there's no hope for your team and you just exhaust like every single bit of value for and then often these are teams that are not even winning the league. Like they're just, they're really throwing good money after bad. So I thought that was an interesting topic to be like, the rookie picks are just so important. And basically, if anyone's watching this, like, and maybe it's like newer to Dynasty, like there's certainly a lesson here. And Dan, you've basically in a lot of leagues, you've done the exact opposite of this, and you've even traded really good players for just piles of picks. Yeah. And even some of them I didn't love, but somehow, some way, when you look at the final product, it's like your team has just, it almost feels like it's doubled in value when you've done that and when I've seen it.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just basically accumulating currency. And that's probably like one of the biggest things I could impart to Sebastian here about Dynasty. Draft picks are currency. Like if you get a pick in 26, 27, it doesn't mean you have to wait until 2026 or 2027 to cash in on that pick. It's like literal money that you can just like spend at any time. And so like, on these teams where I've just accumulated hordes of, not just like multiple firsts, multiple seconds, but like, tons of thirds. I mean, I have teams where I have like, like five thirds, in like 25 and like, 6 fourths and just like ridiculous amount of like draft picks at like every level, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. And then like when the off season comes and I'm like ready to turn this, like maybe it's a rebuilding team that I'm now ready to turn into a contender. I just have this like currency that I can also, I can group picks together, package them, or I can like add players to it. And I can pretty much just like buy anything I want. Like once you have enough picks combined with, a few decent players, you can just like buy just about anything you want. So it's really cool. I mean, it's really fun. And you don't have to wait to cash them in. So I think that's like one of the biggest thing. Also, these 3rds and 4ths, like I love to collect those. They're great to like add to a player and like tier up to a player you like much better, even though the market might view them as similarly. You can also use them to move around in the rookie drafts. Like let's say a player falls to, let's say a player you really like that you didn't think was going to be there, like falls to like the 111 and you have the 112. Well, guess what you can do? You can add that, 302 you have to that 112 and boom, you got the 111 now and you get that, awesome player that you thought was going to go much earlier in the first round, and like that can make a huge difference.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just love collecting those thirds and fourths, and just picks in general. They're currency.
Yeah, and Seb, like you in this deal, that's kind of why I like this deal a lot for you. Is your team needs currency, right? Because you're threading the needle, though you've been getting much better in depth. But now that you have this currency, like, you know, especially if you start pushing stuff back into 20, like kind of trading off of certain picks, getting something on top and moving it into 2026. Like, the most underrated thing about draft picks that Dan was mentioning is that, like, it's crazy how many people think, like, oh, you traded for a 2026 pick, like, you know, what do you can't draft a player now? Well, it's like, I don't need to. I can trade that for a player in season. Like, that could buy you. And the best part is, like, honestly, whatever's worth a second, a lot of the time it's like, it's guys like, you can buy like Chase Brown on the way up or something if you're early. You know what I mean? Like, you can buy like really hot players that are, sure, their dynasty value is questionable, but like they're producing. So there's a lot of like good kind of rental stuff, and sometimes they don't even end up being rentals. So you have lots of options when you're competing and doing that. So that's what, you know, it's a kind of a good like lesson, I guess, Seb, because you haven't went through a dynasty season yet. So like that's a good, just something to remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you're acquiring if you're acquiring a 26 second, that doesn't mean you have to make that pick. In season, that can be used to make your team better.
Yeah, it's in-season buying power, which is something I just absolutely love to have. And, you know, let's say like James Conner's having like a really solid season, and you also think that, as he seems to do every year, he seems to like heat up during the fantasy playoffs. And let's say James Conner is on like a rebuilding team, and, you know, their record is like 2-5, and like it's clear they're not going to make the playoffs. So now they're just trying to like sell off their veterans for any picks. Like, guess what they're going to be interested in? Your 26th second that you just got in this trade. And, you know, they might be begging you to take James Conner for the for that 26th second, you know. And depending on how good Conner is, you know, maybe you have to add a little something to it, or heck, maybe you even get something, you know, kicked in or on top of James Conner in exchange for the 26th second. Let's just say for fun, Coda's having a bad season, and that 26 seconds looking like an early second. Now it's like, okay, like I'll give you that second, but I want James Conner in a third. And, you know, Connor's going to be awesome for you as a contender. So it's like there's so much you can do with those future picks. So that's why I don't even mind getting those picks in the future, because I can use them anytime, and they're great to have in season, especially when you're a contender.
Okay, that. No taking.
Yeah, and one just quick thing to add, that's also the best thing about trading for just like picks in general, especially the future. A lot of times, like, especially in the startup, people think like, oh, I'm trading my pick away, I'm contending. Yeah. And that blows up in their face. Like in one league with Joshy, I collected the 201, 202, 203 off owners in the startup, and the 206 from Joshy himself. So it was like I just collected 4 top 6 seconds, and I paid the price of a late second in the startup, which is just like, you know, I mean, come on, man, buy low, sell high. I mean, you took a lot of luck, but that's what can happen when you trade for future picks.
Okay.
Just to be clear, what you're saying there, Blake, is that basically, Sebastian, basically what Blake is saying is that, like, they weren't the 201, 202, 203 at the time. Yeah. They were future seconds. But Blake was, I mean, either he was betting against those managers or he just got lucky. But what happens when you acquire those future seconds there? Yeah, nothing against
there was no. There was some betting going on, but you know, one of them is in a league that's not Joshy, so won't disclose the name. But like, I was seeing how they're building the team, and sometimes you get a good feeling, and you can, you know, some of them might be lucky, but always something good to note, Seb, is that like you can kind of bet against managers with their picks if you think that they, you know, aren't built strong.
Yeah, if you think a certain manager just like doesn't know what they're doing, or their team, you know, stinks, like get as many of their original picks as you can, like the ones that, you know, their original first, second, third, fourth. So like basically they don't have like a different manager's name, you know, in parentheses, you know, at the end of it. Like get their original picks, and that's a great thing to do. Is just bet against managers, make your bets there.
I got you. All right.
So tell us, Seb, first rookie draft coming up. What, number one, do you know like the prospects? Have you been looking?
I know of 3 players I want. One of them, you know who.
Okay.
I believe Dan knows one.
Okay, I wouldn't name them. Number one, I'm going to stop you there. I won't name them. I'm not even sure who you're talking about. But definitely don't. Definitely don't drop names.
I won't name them. But
gotcha.
I am trying to trade up because I don't believe maybe one will.
I will also. Okay. I mean, you can disclose your plans, but be careful, by the way, just as far as like dropping like full on strategy of like what you're looking to do.
Well,
people can use it against you.
Do is just to trade up, try and grab this one guy who I don't think is gonna fall.
Okay,
interesting. So you got your eyes set.
With that in mind, Sebastian, are you trying to trade up? Are you open to trading up now, or are you more just gonna like wait until like that guy falls to a certain point and then try to like get that pick on the clock so you're guaranteed to get him?
I am a 24/7 open business.
Okay.
I
love it.
Whoever.
Well, love it. One thing I will say, Seb, that I don't know if I ever mentioned to you. So applies to rookie draft. It wouldn't happen to startup. So I'm gonna address it now. You made a crucial rookie mistake in the startup, and it was trading. Like you sent one of your 6, like an earlier mid 6, for a player that number 1 probably would have been there. But number 2, like you traded up to get Kittle at like the late 5th or something. But the issue is like we were in like the early 5th. Like you didn't even trade up to a pick that was on the clock. Like I think actually, funny enough, I was on the clock, and had you wanted to do that deal, like I would have gave you the pick right there to pick him. So like that's a lesson learned going in the rookie one for you. Is like
a lot of mistakes in that draft.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like if let's say the draft's going on and we're on pick 3, don't trade up to pick 8 in the draft in like being like, I'm gonna go get my guy, because what happens if he goes pick 7 or 6, whatever? You get what I'm saying? Like you might have just traded up for no reason.
Okay.
So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. So if you're gonna pay up, like make sure you're getting them. Like trade for that pick on the clock, so that if you're giving up more assets in the deal and kind of ponying up to get this pick, you're guaranteed to get that guy that you had your heart set on.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's always an option if he's picked. You can just trade for him after he's picked. That's always an option. But
if you remember, when I made that trade, we went in a party, and Dakota just went off on me for that. So I definitely remember that mistake there.
Yeah. No, that's a good one that I feel like most people know, but as a new player in your first drafts, something certainly good. But yeah, what about these other rookies? Like, do you feel like you know the class well at all, or?
I mean, I know, obviously, I don't watch college a lot. You know that. I watch Ohio State here and there, so I do know I know who they got, and I know.
It's a good start, yeah. I mean, a lot of the top players are Ohio State players, so it's not a bad place to start.
Yeah. There's 2 others just because of Packer news that I've been looking at.
Yeah.
But the way I see it, y'all have been mentioning them, so there ain't no way any of them are gonna fall.
Okay.
I don't know if I should say it or not. I've been looking at one quarterback. It's not Dart.
Okay. No, there's only be a couple of them then.
Yeah, don't get too many there.
There's only a couple that could be now.
Yeah, there's only a few more. Yeah. So.
I'll stop. But I know about 5 of them, but I really only want 3. But I really only see myself getting at least 1. But I gotta trade up to get him, because there's no way he falls. There's no way.
You're talking about quarterbacks when you say like 5 and 3 and.
Yeah. 5 players. There's only one quarterback I'm looking at, but the rest are.
Interesting. Yeah. This is one good thing about this draft. Is it feels like, especially like in maybe like the late first, where people have been kind of crapping on the picks. It actually feels almost really strong, because it kind of leaks out into the early second. There's a lot of depth there, and it almost could be deeper than last class, because last class actually wasn't very deep beyond the first 12. 12 picks.
It felt like it fell off a cliff. I mean, I guess it's easy to say this now. I guess the only exceptions would be like we didn't quite know how good like Bo Nix and Michael Penix were going to be. Although, I mean, Blake, you and I both felt like Penix was like a great value in the second, anywhere in the second, basically. And unfortunately I didn't get any Bo Nix. I wish I was higher on him. Yeah. But basically, even just with like what we thought at the time, like not hindsight, being 2020 or whatever, it basically felt like after you got Lad McConkey at the 112 last year, it just like fell off a cliff. It was like Jonathan Brooks coming off the torn ACL, Trey Benson, who people had kind of mixed opinions on as, really being a top tier running back.
And then basically it was like Penix or bust, because like especially how it ended up being, but like there was like a Coleman and just like Pearsall, just some questionable profiles and ages and all that.
Yeah, Pearsall was old. He wasn't expected to go in the first round of the NFL draft. Coleman was sort of like a player people had mixed feelings on. And Penix is like, okay, he's probably not even going to really start many games, if any, year one. So, after Ladd McConkey, it just felt like it fell off a cliff. Yeah. Whereas this year, it feels like at least like the first like 3 picks into the second like feel pretty good.
Yeah, not only that, like post-draft, it feels like we could certainly get some big-time risers or whatever. But just like, leaking it just feels like a much more deep class, whether that's true or not. Yeah. It doesn't feel like there's like this drop-off. It's more like gradual instead of like...
I agree. Yeah, it doesn't fall off a cliff. So I think, and honestly, I think it might just feel deeper in general. Like where even like those thirds and fourths, like you feel like you're getting some fun players that maybe they didn't get the best draft capital or the best landing spot, but like guys that you liked heading into the NFL draft that like, okay, maybe their stock has gone down now, but like I still like their talent and I'm still like more than thrilled to get them in the third or fourth or whatever.
Yeah. And Seb, you have a bunch of picks, so any thoughts on how you might try, like, okay, let's just assume, because you can always try to trade the picks. Let's assume, like, we're in a world where you just have to make a picks. Do you have any ideas on how, like, your, call those late seconds, thirds, and fourths, again, just kind of like hypothetically, if you had to make them all, what...
Wait. So you're asking if I would stay with the picks or trade them?
No. I'm saying, like, let's live in a world where, like, you can't trade them. Like, because obviously that's an option.
Okay.
Do you have any plan, basically, because it's your first rookie draft, on like how you might, even if you don't know the prospects well, like are you going to watch the NFL draft, take some notes?
Yeah.
I thought about just having like a little notebook and just saying like Travis Hunter, Denver, for example. You mean going to Denver, but like example like that. But nah, Dakota. That's about it.
Yeah. Well,
I
don't watch college that much. I just, like I said, like I only know about 5 of them going in. Ohio State mainly, but there's 2 others that did not play in Ohio State that I do know.
I see.
But I will be watching the draft.
Okay. That's good.
I will be taking notes because I got to now because of this.
I love it. Get out the notepad, like absolutely. And like also just like I think just kind of like watching the highlights like during the draft of these players can kind of like make an impression. If you don't have like the time or whatever, it'll be like looking up highlights and like film breakdowns on YouTube for like the past few months. Like even just seeing a few clips just gives you a better sense of like what the player looks like and everything. I think that's helpful, especially to like a new dynasty manager.
They're kind of breaking them down on the TV, like strengths and weaknesses. So
exactly. Oh yeah, I always watch that. I like that stuff.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and like, dude, like I think you're gonna enjoy it like more than ever now.
Oh
like,
yeah,
it's just so much fun. So like you're gonna love it.
Yeah, like definitely I think I might, just as far as just having fun on the draft. Like, unfortunately it's like I don't know if I'll be able to watch day 2, but I think day 3 I'll be able to watch. But just like literally just get like a pen and paper just for fun, like whether it really even means anything in like our draft process, but like just like. Write the names down where they land and just like give it a initial reaction with like a highlighter, like good, undecided or like bad kind of thing. If you're watching that set, even if you don't know the players' names, you'll certainly have some information watching the draft, and it'll mostly be fun. You'll be learning about all these players.
My grandpa knows them all. He watches college. I think he likes college a little bit more than NFL.
So you got to refer to Gramps.
Yeah, I for real do. He's excited for this draft. I know he's excited to see where all his Ohio State boys go.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think he's a little disappointed though with I don't know why he's getting hated on. Will Howard. Everyone's hating on Will Howard. He's a little bit he's a big Will Howard guy.
Okay.
He was a big Justin Fields guy too. Yeah. CJ Stroud. But I think he likes Will Howard the most. I don't really know why. But
well, he's national championship winner. So
I guess there you go.
That could be it. That's probably the most interesting thing in this draft is where the Will Howards, the Dylan Gabriel, who was a Heisman finalist. Like, no one's even talking about these guys, and it's almost like I think everyone's just forgotten they're in the draft. So I'm pretty interested to see where they end up going.
Why are they getting hated on? What'd they do?
I mean, just as far as, like, I don't know, basically everything. Like, maybe their athleticism, combination of that. I mean, I wouldn't say it was their production. One won a national championship. The other one was a Heisman finalist and stuff. But, I mean, that's kind of what I've been wondering, too. It's like, why is no one caring? I guess they're just not good on the tape.
Okay. Well, I was just curious about that because I knew he was getting a lot of hate and a lot of people did not want him. So,
yeah,
that's all that was.
Yeah, I'm definitely interested to see where these guys land.
I think the interesting thing for Sebastian during the rookie draft is just with the concept of trading, like on the clock or whatever. Could Sebastian be tempted by offers where like someone's offering him like a proven veteran for his like rookie pick on the clock? So I think that could be a really interesting thing. So what do you think, Sebastian? Like, could you be tempted to kind of just like, would you be more inclined to just take like the sure thing if like you don't feel like too familiar with these rookies or whatever? Or you think you'll have a better sense of it by the time where you're on the clock in the rookie draft?
It depends on where in the draft because I do have the 112, and it's like Dig said, if he does fall, I'm taking him no matter what. I'm not trading that pick.
Yeah,
but I don't think he is. Okay. So it depends on who, obviously.
Sure. Yeah, just kind of.
I would take the sure thing, probably, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Rather
than just kind of seem like you have a mindset of like I mean it sounds like you're hoping to like take down the championship year one here. I mean, am I wrong?
You're not wrong.
I love it.
Yeah.
That'd be nice, man. Two wins in a row. Like,
I
won one, and then I come to this one and win that one. Like, I gotta go.
That's right, because I just sort of half heard you at the beginning, but like you said that you won your redraft league last year.
Yeah, I won the regular fantasy one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I think my record was like 11-4, 11-5, something like that.
Yeah.
And I picked up Chase Brown because I was watching the Bengals. I think I had Kamara, and he got hurt or something like that. And then I forgot who my other back was. So I had to drop one, and Chase Brown was sitting there, and I remembered, like, I'm watching the Bengals games, like, this dude's going off.
Yep.
Brown. And I won it with him, so I was pretty proud of that.
Oh, yeah, he was definitely a league winner. That's awesome. Yeah. Also, we got Hawkeyes in the chat here. Says, so excited for the draft tomorrow. Yeah, we definitely all share your sentiments there. I can't believe it's finally here. I'm so excited for it. Fortunately, I'm not going to be able to watch a ton of it because I got a weekend plan with my siblings. They're driving 4 hours to come up to northern Michigan and just kind of spend a fun weekend together. So I'm really looking forward to that. You know, of course, wish the timing was a little different, but I might be able to watch like the first hour of day one tomorrow. But yeah, I'm still just excited, even if I don't actually get to watch a ton of it, just to find out all the landing spots, the draft capital, everything like that. So like, yeah, I can't believe it's here already. I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
Who are you hoping the Lions take?
Oh gosh, I don't know. I mean, they're talking about. I don't know if you heard about this, Sebastian, but there've been rumors the past few days about the Lions trading Jameson Williams, which I can't believe. Like, why on earth would the Lions want to do that? So I don't know if there's like some drama going on behind the scenes where like he's unhappy. Like I might have read that like he unfollowed the Lions on like X or something stupid like that.
Yeah. As far as I'm aware, like there was a source, but like when I tried tracking it down, which was like right after everything was getting leaked, I still couldn't find the original source or whatever, like what they had posted. So I don't know. Like again, I'm gonna assume it's not real until I'm proven otherwise. Like as far as Schefter and legitimate sources.
Yeah,
but something to keep an eye on.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've seen it from a lot of different places at this point. So yeah, I got to scrutinize that a little better and see if this is really legitimate. But I'm kind of getting the sense that it is, just on a gut feeling. As much as I would absolutely hate for the Lions to lose Jameson Williams. So all of a sudden, it sounds like the Lions might be in play for a wide receiver, and maybe Jameson Williams gets traded during the draft. So that would be interesting. I mean, like, I don't know. Like, I guess like his stock could, JMO's stock could go up or down based on where he lands.
That's right. He's on my team.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay,
so, like, I mean, I don't think it would be like. I don't think there are too many spots where it'd be horrible for his value. Because even if he went to like a not that great of an offense, he might be more like the number one target on that offense compared to being like the number two in Detroit, where he's competing with like Brown, Sam Laporta, Jahmyr Gibbs catching balls out of the backfield. So like, I mean, it could be an improvement. I mean, it's just kind of, who knows? So yeah, the Lions could be in play for a receiver. I mean, I guess if we lose JMO, like, I guess I'd want us to get a receiver to replace him. We would definitely need that. It would suck though, because I love JMO. I got him in so many leagues, so many dynasty leagues. So like, I wouldn't love that, but hopefully if he does get moved, hopefully it is to a decent, solid landing spot, and hopefully the Lions do replace him in the draft. The Lions got quite the history of taking wide receivers in the first round, as anyone, I don't know, over the age of 30 or so knows. I think we took took a wide receiver in the first round. What was it, at least like 3 years in a row or something crazy. I don't have like too many strong opinions. I mean, obviously the Lions got a great team, so I'm fine with them just taking like best player available. I'm pretty open minded. I just want us to get a difference maker somewhere. I mean, we could use a little help on defense, and we could certainly use a receiver if JMO gets traded.
Okay.
So Seb, what about Packers? Any prediction?
Egbuka.
Interesting.
Egbuka. Yeah, I want him. Really bad.
Interesting.
We need to stop this BS of taking some defensive player in the first round. Doesn't really do anything.
Every year.
Mm-hmm. Every year.
Every receiver.
Huh?
Yeah, we never take a receiver.
Yeah, they never take receivers. You think they break the... I have seen receivers mocked there. I've seen Egbuka mocked there. What's interesting about him, not that he's limited to the slot, but primarily the slot guy, and then you have the ultimate slot guy in Jaden Reed. So, like, it's a little confusing, though I think Egbuka could move around all over the place.
I feel like Romeo Doubs is about to shock a lot of people. I'm high on that, man. I really do.
What about Wicks? We need the insider info,
Take it or leave it.
What?
Right.
Take him or leave him. I don't.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Dobbs is my boy. I like Dobbs. I feel like a lot of people sleep on Dobbs right now, man. I understand.
You know what's funny? I would say maybe in real life, I feel like that's probably true. In fantasy, I'd almost say it's like his career. It's almost been the opposite because he was like one of the hottest names from his rookie season in probably especially Dynasty. But like he's always actually had some pretty good respect on his name as being a 4th round pick. Now he's of course not really anyone cares about him. It's because he doesn't really produce anything for fantasy. But in real life, it's always a different story with a player like that.
I mean, you
really the real hidden gem there is Bo Melton. I mean, like, why on earth do the Packers not get that guy in the field more?
Is he even still there?
Yeah, he came from the Seahawks. He's there.
Yeah,
he got re-signed.
I believe so.
Yeah, they tendered him. He was a restricted free agent, and I was mad. I was hoping to go somewhere where he could actually, have a chance to get some playing time. But yeah, Sebastian? What are your thoughts on Bo Melton? I think you actually roster him in the break room. So like, do you like him? I think he's always looked good when he's gotten a chance out there. I don't get why he doesn't get more playing time.
I believe he will because we have Watson out. I don't know how long Watson will be out. So obviously the top 2 up is Reed and Dobbs, but I do love Bo Melton. I forgot about him until you mentioned him. He just wasn't.
Yeah.
But,
him and Mecole Hardman are going to be scrapping it out for that wide receiver.
Come on,
4.
don't even put Hardman as Melton.
They'll be if they draft Egbuka or Ted or something, then they'll be scrapping for that wide receiver 5 role.
Oh, exactly, which sucks. So I mean, that's why I've dropped all my Bo Melton shares. But I mean, I owned him in like half my dynasty leagues for a while. He was like one of my favorite sleepers, but I just eventually had to give it up there.
Yeah, I had to cut ties. Yeah.
The only reason we signed him, I believe, is because Keyshawn Nixon came out saying he doesn't. After the Eagles game, he fumbled at the very first play. We all saw it. He came out and said he don't want to return kickoffs, and I think that's why the main reason we signed him.
Okay. So you think?
Nixon doesn't want to return kickoffs anymore?
No, he came out and said that not too long after the Eagles game because he fumbled the ball. So.
All because of one fumble. I actually own Keyshawn Nixon in a dynasty league with IDP players, and you get like insane return yardage. You get like a point for every like 7 return yards, either kick or punt return. And like Nixon was really good in that, so that sucks to hear that actually.
Yeah, you might have to sell him high on this insider info.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for sure.
So and then for me, Vikings, like honestly, I really have no prediction because I think they'll probably trade their pick. Like they've been pretty active trading. I think they've traded in their last 2 or 3 drafts. Like their original pick in the first round. Like last year, they moved up a spot for McCarthy. They traded with the Lions for that JMO pick a couple years ago. So, anyways, best player available. You sent me Hampton mock from Peter Schrager. And I mean that's like Michael Penix level like confusion, and not because like they're super loaded. They have like 3 picks before it's like a 7th rounder or something. So I would be a pretty speechless selection.
Yeah, that would be shocking. So I hope that doesn't happen.
Basically, O-line or defense it would be my prediction, which is not a very precise one.
Yeah.
Don't really need help, anywhere else there. But you want to play a quick game before we end it here, just because I'm running out of time here. I gotta do some last second studying. But basically, let's try to pick like 3 players that we could all take guesses on. Or actually, maybe we could pick our most favorite. Like, what would you guys rather do? You could pick like 3. We'll keep it offensive players, like fantasy relevant. We'll try to predict their landing spot. It could be technically any round, but like probably easier if it's the first round.
So would it be the 3 players for each of us, or each of us makes 3 predictions?
That's what I'm wondering. Do you guys want to pick your own 3, or should we all stick to the same 3? Probably different 3.
It might be easier just to do the same 3 players. So you want to pick like 3 players that would be interesting to discuss where they might land?
Okay, yeah. So let's do. I guess I was gonna say it could be the first, but running backs it could be a little interesting in the 2nd or 3rd round. Let's do the obvious one here, Genty, where it's like I don't think it's obvious his landing spot because now the Jags are in the mix. I've also heard another team in the mix. Oh, the Patriots. I heard someone pounding the table for. So
Genty.
Yeah, I mean, take that for what you will. I mean,
I doubt that.
Pretty much any team in the first round has been like rumored to take him at this point, past like 4 or later.
Yeah.
Dan, any thoughts where he goes?
Did you hear about the Cowboys with Genty? With what their coach did? What's their coach? Or no, it's the owner.
Okay.
Jerry Jones. He was holding some UFC belt or championship belt when he came in there. So I know the Cowboys kind of want him. I don't know if you guys heard about that or not.
What was the UFC belt referring to?
Championships.
Like as far as like the Saquon thing, like with his note to the NFL. Or?
What I heard, he came in there. He was hosted by the Cowboys, and Jerry Jones was in the room holding the belt.
Yeah,
it was some sort of UFC championship belt, and I guess that was to symbolize like come over here and win a championship.
I see.
I heard about that.
Okay.
Interesting. Falls.
Yeah, I mean maybe they trade up though because it's rumored to be that teams might be really active in this draft as far as like the tiers go. So is that your guess? The Cowboys?
No,
okay.
Raiders. He's going to the Raiders.
Raiders? Okay. Dan, what do you think?
Wait, remind me where the Raiders are picking. Is it like
6?
3? Oh, 6. Okay.
Yeah.
The question is, are the Jags going to be able to pass on Genty? That might be too tempting for Cohen to pass up. So, like, that is kind of fresh in mind after seeing that Peter Schrager mock. Yeah, just for fun. Like, that sounds just crazy enough that it would happen because, weird things happen in the NFL drafts. And then, ETN and Bigsby get completely nuked there. That would suck for any shares that anyone has of them. I had one ETN share that I just moved. I do have a few Bigsby, but, don't have too much invested in it. So I could certainly live with that. I mean, it would actually be a pretty fun landing spot. Especially with Cohen there on the offense. Just for fun, I'll say the Jags.
Okay, yeah. I've been really seeing that one trending, and I'm kind of like trying to get my mind around like why they would do that. Not because they have superstar running backs, but they have a couple good running backs. There's so many good ones later. And here's my like why that won't happen in my opinion. Though I think like, well, no, not
because of how he got lucky, or not lucky, but how he was successful in finding that gem in Bucky Irving last year. Like, you got to think he could possibly do that again this year with how deep the running back class is.
That's a good argument. That's not why. Well, and here's what I was going to say is Liam Cohen's not the guy making the pick, right? Like, we got to remember that. Like, he might get to influence it, but they have that new GM who looks like he's about 28 years old. I think he's like in his early 30s or something. And a lot of these newer GMs, like, I read a little bit about him. My guess is, too, like, without fully going into his background, these guys tend to be a little bit sharper about some positional value stuff. Mm-hmm. I'd be shocked if the guy that just took over the job goes and takes Ashton Genty at, 5? I mean, a running back at 5 in a loaded running back class. So it's totally a fun landing spot. That'd be awesome if Genty landed there. Like, that probably might be one of his best other than the Bears or suppose Cowboys. But for my guess, man, I'm pretty. I'll change it up. I'll say it's gonna be Bears, though.
Oh, yeah.
Again, I think they actually plan on taking like figuring out with their second round picks, I'll still say Bears, because the Raiders also, same thing applies. I actually do think they have a good chance at picking them, though it makes no sense for a team, in as rough shape as them to just select a running back at 6, though it's totally something they would do, because they love reaching and going around and doing stupid stuff.
To me, Travion Henderson just feels like a Chicago Bear to me.
Exactly. I was almost gonna bring him up as the next one, but I didn't know if I wanted to do a running back. Travion Henderson, because they have those 2 seconds, they could trade up. My fear though would be that he's gonna go in the first round.
Maybe the Bears in the first round to get him.
Exactly, and they have the picks in the capital to do it. I will say, if I had to put a bold take out there. And I've been seeing this one thrown around, and I am glad that I'm not crazy thinking this. I think Henderson could technically jump Hampton in the draft, even if it's only by a couple picks.
Okay. You never know. I mean, you never know who these NFL teams are going to fall in love with. Also, from what I'm hearing, it sounds like the Jaguars pick at, 4, is going to be an offensive skill position player.
Okay.
And it sounds like if it isn't Genty, it might be Ted McMillan. I think that would be really interesting as well. So
that would be, yeah. That'd be awesome.
So, that would be stocked up for Trevor Lawrence. That would just, either one of those players would be really fun for that Jags offense.
Let's bring him up. So let's pretend though Genty goes to 4. Maybe we can pretend our own predictions or kind of like what that team selects.
Yeah.
As far as the exercise here, but let's bring up Tet, because what's fun about him, I'm hearing him mocked as early as 4 or 5. And as late as like the mid-20s. Mm-hmm. So who knows at this point? What do we think, Seb?
That's a wide receiver, right? I'm not tripping.
That's a wide receiver. Yeah, he's projected the best wide receiver not named Travis Hunter. Any ideas for a landing spot for him?
What about your Packers? I mean, like, they could be in the mix potentially. I mean, maybe they finally take that first round wide receiver, and I could see Ted McMillan be one of those guys that like falls in the NFL draft. And the Packers finally just say, you know what, like this is just too good a value to pass up on, and they finally take that first round wide receiver.
I don't know why I had to get my hopes up like that.
or maybe they trade up a few picks again. Like it's
good.
Where are the Packers picking? What's their pick in the first round?
The 23rd.
23rd. Like I mean, it's not the craziest scenario in the world that Pat McMillan falls to the 23rd pick. I mean, I'm not saying it's like likely, but like could be like, I don't know, 40-50% chance that happens. I don't know. Maybe a little less, 30-40, something like that.
Looking at these teams, some of these teams got decent wide receiver cores.
Yeah.
You guys go first. I don't want to keep you there.
Yeah. I mean, I could see the Jags if they don't go with Genty, or maybe that GM just thinks that like wide receiver is a better investment with a first-round pick than running back, which I could certainly understand. So I definitely think the Jags would be highly in play there. So like I could easily make that my prediction. Just for fun, I'll say he slips in the draft a little bit. I also saw mock to the Buccaneers, which I would absolutely hate. I don't understand.
Yeah, what the hell?
But I think he's much more likely to go like Patriots, Panthers, or maybe Packers. So just for fun, like it just sounds like the Panthers are just like a logical team. Like Xavier Legette doesn't look like a hit. Coker had a good season, but like he's a UDFA. Adam Thielen is older than dirt. They could use some receiver help. Yeah. Certainly at the long term there. So like I could just see Ted McMillan as a Panther. So I'll say the Panthers.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean I think that's also a really logical one. Like if I had to do my like the really fun take, I'm 100% like I'm with you on this whole like Jacksonville thing and play, but I'm gonna go off like the rumors. I'll try to play a little more realistic, just because his stuff's so whatever. His ADP is all up in the air. I'm actually gonna go 12 to Dallas on this one.
Oh yeah.
And the reason why is just they have nobody, and if Tet is slipping, I don't know. Just seems like a great fit to get that 1-2 combo. I mean, that would be like a lethal wide receiver room.
Hey, how about this? The Tet falls to like pick 20 or so. The Lions like trade up, like do a blockbuster deal, maybe kind of similar to the Jameson Williams deal, and they steal Tet McMillan.
And then they trade JMO, or
and trade. Oh, maybe J-Mo's in the deal.
That was literally okay. I was like, when you were saying your prediction, I was like saying in my head, I was like, I wonder if this is going to be your prediction
because I didn't even
they
think
could
of
trade
that. All of a sudden, it hit me like, wait, the Lions, like, of course. And, I mean, they did that heist with the Vikings where they like stole Jameson Williams in the draft. Wouldn't that be so poetic if they do like a similar kind of like blockbuster deal where they actually trade J-Mo, hopefully get the next J-Mo or next really good wide receiver to complement St. Brown. That would be super fun.
Oh, yeah, no, exactly. Actually, now that I'm looking at it, by the way, I'll name a couple teams that just, like, I have not heard of mock to. They'll, like, I can see them adding it. Indianapolis could use a lot of receiver help, even though they have three guys, or technically 4 receivers. But I see you squinting over there. Here's the thing.
I'm doing the emote. I'm doing like the skeptical emoji,
look,
like the eyebrow and the.
Look, I mean, you actually did mention the Pittman trade, which I think also, same thing. Like, it doesn't make sense, though. Someone could be at risk in that receiver room because they need to give weapons for the quarterbacks or AR or whoever you think is the quarterback. It was so atrocious. Just go look at any analytic. They'll tell you that the Colts receiving room was the worst possible at basically everything for the quarterback.
It was bad. I mean, Pittman, but he was injured. I mean,
Pittman, they have 0 tight ends. Alec Pierce is an efficient fantasy player, but only, his ADOT catching whatever yards per catch is insane. But, like, he's like a role player as far as, like, that's his role. He's not going and burning people.
Downs Mitchell. I mean, don't like the analytics say that like Adonai Mitchell was like getting open and had a lot of bad luck and everything.
Week 1, absolutely. I don't know about the rest of the season. The week 1's the famous one where he like missed 3 touchdowns or whatever. But I'm just saying, like, I think like they could go get an alpha. Like, that's a really, really, really wild card one. And another one I just saw is that I think Denver is really in play for a receiver. So if he does slip, either if Green Bay wanted him, they have to get up ahead of Denver. Because, I don't know, doesn't that just make sense? They can move him around everywhere. Denver needs a receiver. I think they're in play a big time for a receiver.
You don't think the 49ers are going to take him?
No, they don't need a receiver.
I mean, I don't think so, but you just never know. I mean, they
Debo. I kind of proved to be a disappointment. And I know they got that Ricky Parcell guy.
Yeah.
And I don't think it would hurt them at all because, Kittle's up there in age. Christian McCaffrey is known to be hurt. Just
I was looking at them as well, and I mean, thinking about it more, it's kind of like the Colts thing. It's like they have receivers, but if he's their guy, like everything I've heard about this draft class, it's like go get your guy season. If you think he's the best player available, just select him, kind of thing. So I won't rule out a team like the Niners.
I think I'm gonna go with a really hot take and say the Niners take him.
Okay,
that would be crazy. I mean, that I would be shocked by that, but hey, you never know. I feel like Tet's a guy, and the more we talk about it, could just end up.
I think go anywhere now.
I think that was like a perfect player to discuss. I was about to say, you know what? Like, I changed my prediction. He's going to the Lions in this, blockbuster JMO deal. Yeah. But honestly, just following my true intuition, I feel like he's a Green Bay Packer. I think the Packers take Ted McMillan. That is my official prediction.
So do you think they trade up, or does he survive all those teams?
I bet he falls. I think the Packers only take him if he like falls at a great value. And I think he either falls to the Packers and like they get this amazing deal where like they didn't even need to like trade up. He just fell in their lap just like Aaron Rodgers did back in the day kind of thing. Or maybe he falls, but they trade up like 2 picks or something just because like they love him that much and like, okay, he's fallen enough. Like we'll, I don't know, give up a third or a second or, whatever the trade calculator says and, real NFL to, give up. But, like, I could see him trading up, like, a couple spots, but I also wouldn't be shocked if they just, like, stood where they were and, like, he just falls to them and they give up nothing and still just grab him there in the first.
I would be ecstatic to see that happen after all these years.
That'd be fun.
But, by the way, I want to just show anybody watching and you guys, like, just how if there's one player not to bet on, for like fantasy, whatever where his landing spot is going to be, it's either like actually he's probably either the best one to bet for or the worst, and I'll say why he might be the best one. You might be able to get the most like unbelievable odds on one of these teams I'm about to name that we haven't even mentioned yet, or he's just such a bad one because there's like 12 like really really solid options. Here's some other ones we didn't name. Like I thought the San Fran was a really good call out as just like a shocker. Indianapolis I had mentioned. But listen to this. Atlanta, they have Mooney as their 2. But they have Penix. Like, I know they need some help on defense, but like, I mean, again, get your guys season. Like, they just shocked us with the Penix one.
Yep.
I thought they were gonna pick Roma Dunze is the key part there too. If I thought they were gonna pick Roma Dunze, what has changed from last year? I mean, they could shoot Mooney to 3. I don't think that's out of play at all. I've never heard that mentioned. And
that's a fascinating dark horse selection there. I never even really thought about that one. But yeah, I don't think and Mooney's like a solid receiver, but he's not going to stop you from like taking
he's not going to select you from picking.
Yeah, but what's interesting is like I've heard Tet compared to Drake London quite a bit.
That's right.
So like that'd be an interesting fit, but like it could be kind of fun. You got these like kind of twin towers there on the outside. Yeah. Like that'd be fun.
And here's another one. The next pick in the draft, Arizona, which I have seen them like mocked like one time this with Marv, and they have no receiver too. It's like Michael Wilson. I mean, they're actually big time in play, though I've never heard of. So now that we've talked about it more, I'll say I have no idea where. What did I start at? Dallas?
No clue.
I have no clue. I guess I'll stick with my guns at Dallas, but my wild card option, since we're so confused here, is I'll actually call. Oh man, you called San Fran, so I'll call Atlanta as my wild card. I don't know. I guess your wild card can be like kind of the Lions / Packers, like one of your real.
Yeah,
you know,
I'm feeling Packers. Just my gut feeling.
Okay.
Do we want to do one more player? Do you want to say like Hampton, or what do you want to do?
Let's do. Yeah, let's definitely do another. Ooh, that's tough because then I was like thinking tight ends, but there's only a few landing spots for them. So
or we could do like Judkins. We could do what else would be a fun player to do in terms of the receivers.
Let's do Hampton because I mean. I agree. Like I think Henderson's going to be a Chicago guy, but yeah, let's do Hampton.
Hampton feels like a Charger or a Steeler.
Okay, or Steeler. He does have a visit with the Steelers. I think the key is like pulling up the top 30 visits just to really home down on like what is. I'm not too familiar. I know Steelers. And
I was talking to Hawkeyes earlier on Sleeper, and he thinks Hampton's going to be Denver Bronco. So there are a few different landing spots. Like I don't know if I could see that one. That doesn't sound like a Sean Payton kind of running back, but you never know. Cooper, if you're still watching, I'd love to hear kind of your thought process.
I think the Broncos are taking Judkins.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see that. I think Judkins another player. I'm just like I'm not sure where he's going to go. It could be like a bunch of different places. Like I think he's kind of a fun wild card to speculate about.
Yeah.
But like I'm personally feeling the Steelers or Chargers. Okay. I'll just say Chargers for fun. I mean, it sounds like kind of predictable, but sometimes things work out that way. I'm convinced the Steelers are going to take Scatabo. That just seems like the most like perfect fit ever in terms of like just the Steelers culture and history and everything like that. So yeah, I think Scatabo is going to be a Steeler. So I'm going to say Hampton's going to be a Charger. That just seems like a really logical fit there. And I'm not a big Hampton guy, but like I think that'd be a fun fit where like I could probably get on board if he's a Charger.
Yeah, I think that would probably be my most favorite pick. I'll try to find another landing spot, but because I definitely agree with that one.
Could the Cowboys take Hampton?
Yeah, if they're gonna Gibbs it, then I think that's a really good. That would be the team to Gibbs it if they were to do like the. I mean, it would be really identical because there would be like the Genty, who is the Bijan early.
Yeah.
Any thoughts, Seb, on Marion Hampton? He's the North Carolina running back.
Probably Bears. I don't know.
Bears, okay. Yeah, I mean they're hugely in play to trade up potentially.
I was looking. I have the draft order.
Yeah.
I was looking at the draft.
Oh yeah, that's helpful to have in front of you. I always pulled that up myself, but that would be an interesting fit in Chicago because they already have the DeAndre Swift there to kind of play the Swift or Jahmyr Gibbs role, and Ben Johnson is there. Of course, people always say like, oh, Ben Johnson got rid of Swift. I mean. He may have. I don't know how much impact he had on the Lions' personnel decisions. Maybe a lot, maybe none at all. I don't know.
Yeah.
But that would kind of give that fun thunder and lightning where, like, I think that'd be pretty fun to have Hampton and Swift there in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give me 1 second because I'm just like, I want to see if Amari and Hampton had the Steelers visit.
Okay.
So there's top 30 because they went and visited like a record amount of running backs, like basically like a third of their available top 30 picks.
No, the Steelers.
Or sorry, yeah, like, and they. I didn't know this until this offseason. They love to they hate smoke screens. They just don't do it. They just like actually will like say. I think with the Najee Harris one, apparently when I was listening to something, they were saying that like they basically said, yeah, if we're just gonna take Najee Harris if he's there, like, and then they did.
They did with Kenny Pickett though. I mean, that pick was like completely out of the blue. Like everyone was shocked. Like no one had any clue that Kenny Pickett was even on like the Steelers' radar a few years ago. So
yeah,
maybe that's the exception. But
yeah, they did mention that as the exception. They were talking. They gave a couple other examples, but basically they were saying that like they don't really care too much about smoke screens. If you look at their top 30 visits, it's like a bunch of day 2/3 running backs, and then it's like Amari and Hampton. So I'm gonna actually go out and say, because I think here's like my bold prediction for like this is a very specific one. Henderson goes at 20 to Denver, but then 21 Hampton goes to Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
and it's just two running backs just go right off the board back to back, and they make more sense.
Yeah, one on running backs. I could see that totally.
Yeah, and it just makes those two make sense fits. They literally pick back to back.
I can see both of those. Yeah, totally.
So that would be my best guess, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, can't wait for the draft though. Should we wrap up the stream here?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. It was fun, talking to you, Seb.
Oh yeah, dude, Sebastian, so great having you on here finally. So good to see you, and I guess it's not meeting you in person, but it's the closest thing to it here. But yeah, awesome having you on, getting your perspective as a new Dynasty player. Been so much fun having you in the break room. I've enjoyed making trades with you and chat with you and everything. So looking forward to fun season of Dynasty there in the break room, and sure we'll be making more deals and sending more offers. And yeah, I love what you've been doing with your team lately. So yeah, keep it up, man.
Bro, I'm open 24/7 to talk about whoever. If you want to trade, I am open, bro. No matter what.
You're like a 7-Eleven.
Dude, I mean, I love to play with managers that are active and like love trading, love sending offers, and actually respond quickly. So like, I wish everyone loved trading as much as Sebastian. So it's been so much fun, man.
Seb might be the only person to contend with Dan for like, for top trading or just like open to trades.
Yeah,
like,
I don't know if Sebastian can compete with me on waiver pickups. I don't know. I mean, Sebastian's made a few of them, so like he might be giving me a run for my money, but we'll see about that. But he's made some fun waiver pickups. I noticed like the Bo Melton, and he got Tim Patrick, and he's made a few sneaky pickups there. So
I am trying to trade up, so I know both of you have picks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Certainly open. Post again. Got to see what's going on, but once the NFL draft is settled. Especially the rookie draft starts the next day, so we're gonna start it on Sunday as a slow draft. It sounds like based off the voting. So we'll be open.
Sebastian, I'm always open for business. So send those offers anytime, my friend.
Low key wants Saquon off you if you want me to be open at all.
Oh my god, dude! You brought up Saquon in just about any negotiation we've ever had. Like, I mean, like talk about a player like I couldn't be less excited about trading. So yeah, it would take a haul, but hey, there's always a price.
Maybe I got a lot of picks.
All right.
That's right. We'll see what happens. But yeah, anyone watching, thanks for tuning in. Hope at least one of us hit on those draft predictions. It'll be fun to look back.
Yeah.
A few of them.
We'll make a YouTube short. If we get one of them right. Yeah. Of course, like we've thrown so many different possibilities out there. We could just like cut up and say whatever we wanted. But I think we did land on an official pick for each of those three players.
We did. The Tet one will be up there. We had like a wild card one. Yeah, we each had like a wild card one on that one. But
I'm gonna stick with my gut on something saying Niners just after.
Wait, like what was yours for Tet? What was your official?
Mine was Cowboys, but now I'm really questioning it. And here's the funny thing.
Falcons, just to be, if you said Falcons and it ended up being the Falcons, you'd be like the only person that said that.
What was my wild card was the Falcons, right?
Okay, so that's your wild card, but your official.
Okay, I'll say just for the sake of it, because I truly think that's in the range of outcomes.
Okay.
Though I have not seen it mocked, I will say. Okay, I'll say Tet goes to the Falcons, and then the wild card team will be the Cowboys then.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, I like it. So yeah, that'll be fun if we get any of those right. But yeah, awesome stream. Everyone watching, thank you so much for joining us. Hit the like. definitely subscribe if you're still watching by now, because you obviously love Dynasty, and you're in the right place with this channel. Yeah, we will see you on the next stream, and have a good night.